Khan. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwath. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to tap into the spirit, all right, of the war, all right, to end all wars, man, which is that third woe. You know, you Akiyam and Akwath are familiar with, you know, via the correct doctrine that you come under. All right, the understanding of how this thing's gonna end, all right, it's not gonna be by means of a meteorite, all right, striking the earth, right, or a comet or anything of that magnitude. The alien little green men coming and taking over the earth and destroying it and zapping it. No, it's not gonna play out like that, man. All right, how this thing's gonna play out? There's gonna be a third world's woe, the third world's war. All right, as the scriptures speak intimately about. And we know, pursuing the biblical prophecy, that the two superpowers that are going to go head to head, all right, which is going to cause this cataclysmic event, all right, which is going to end, all right, the heathen rulership of the Edomites, is going to be Babylon the Great, all right, the daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, all right, which consists, all right, of this revived Western Roman Empire, which consists of this beast system, all right, the NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the EU, the European Union, the beast system, with the whore America riding on that beast, all right, this Western bloc, all right, versus the Eastern bloc, which consists of Russia, all right, the modern day Medes, man. All right, that northern country that's going to come with assembly of nations, bro. All right, which is going to come, as you can see, they're formulating the BRICS. All right, they're allied with China. All right, they're allied with North Korea. You see, Turkey's going to jump in the mix, as we know via biblical prophecy, and be allied with them. Iran. See, so this is the reality of the story, bro. All right, they're going to go head to head. Gog, Magog, the bear, is going to go head to head with the harlot, bro. This is going to end this eon. This is going to wrap up this space of time when you read in 2nd Ezra 6 regarding Esau being the end of the world. All right? Esau being the end of a space of time, end of an eon. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, bro. This is that event that's going to take place, bro. And we see it building up to that moment. All right? All these nations are dead set on their nuclear weapons program, man, and they'll be damned if they're not allowed to bring forth these weapons of mass destruction, because the spirit of the Lord's on them. All right, the book of Joel tells us the weak are gonna say they're strong. They're gonna turn their pruning hooks into weapons of war. The agricultural tools are gonna be used. It's allegorical speech, but you know those agricultural tools are gonna be actually versus they're going to be used in the sense of the attention being paid to war. They're not going to pay attention to, you know, their economy per se, or you know, as far as like building up, you know, their agriculture. They're not going to really be focused on that. You see, they're going to be focused on nuclear weapons. They're going to be putting all their eggs in that one basket, in efforts to what? Fulfill the will of the Lord. You see, this is what this thing's all about. It's all about fulfilling the will of the Lord. No one's operating, all right, under their own counsel. No one's operating under their own will. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as what's the word? What's the term? Free will. There's no such thing as free will, bro. No, the Proverbs 21 tells us that the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, bro. He's controlling every move they make, and he's got a fervent spirit on him to bring forth these weapons of mass destruction. Because the third world's woe, it must come to pass. Let's start with this real quick through the spirit. I got an article as well that I want to share with you, beloved Akim and Akwa. Let's go here real quick. Let's go to the book. Let's go to the book of Revelations, chapter 11, and verse 14, and it reads, the second woe is past. Okay, right, the second world's war. Right, it's come and it's gone. Right, and it was catastrophic. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and this third world's war is not going to come like a typical war. All right, where you're going to be hearing, swords bounce off shields, and, you're going to be seeing, individuals shooting bow and arrows. Nah, yeah, the arrow that's going to be being shot are those missiles, man. All right, as a matter of fact, let me get another precept real quick as well. Bear with me. This is what this war is going to look like right here. This is the book. Come on, tablet. Esau's technology ain't shit. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5, and it reads, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. Right, that hand-to-hand combat. Right, that was the tradition of modern war. See, but things done went to another level. All right, and we're going to show you. I got an article regarding this new nuclear weapon that's coming forth out of Russia. All right, it's one of a kind. Okay, and this is biblical prophecy that this would be, because we know Russia is the main catalyst to the depletion of Babylon and the removal of Babylon. That's the powerhouse. All right, along with his allies that are gonna take this place down, bro, and then they're gonna be subdued as well, because Yahweh Shai is coming. Hence why I got that chariot on the thumbnail, because that's the end game. Okay, when Yahweh Shai comes with the chariots, he's gonna come when fire's being manifested, though, as scriptures tell us. It's gonna be kindled already when he comes. You see, he's gonna deliver his elect out of this nuclear fallout right by the skin of their teeth, man. As it reads in Revelations 11, it goes into it. Right, but anyways, Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise, right, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, man. All right? This shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Why? Because it's going to consist around what? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, bro, and other weapons of mass destruction. You see, knowledge has increased. All right, this third world's war is going to wrap up this eon, man. These missiles are going to reshape land masses, man. They're going to remove isles out of their places. Islands, bro. The scriptures go into it, bro. That's how catastrophic this third world's war is going to be. And it's unavoidable. All right, there's no peace talks. There's no making a phone call. All right, with Putin and talking with him for 90 minutes. All right, to persuade him. All right, that let's move it all now and put your weapons of war in the museum. All right, let's do this. This is peace. No, that's not the time we're in, as it tells us in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, bro. That's not the time we're in, and that's not how we get home. All right, Revelations 18 gives us a vivid illustration on how we get avenged upon this land and delivered. All right, and this has to happen. It's going to be a violent overthrow. All right, this is prophecy. This is what prophecies tells us. This is what the prophecies say. It's got to be through violence, man. The Lord's bringing that. It's unavoidable, man. Now, real quick. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the article. Now check this out. Bear with me, just get it real quick. This is from Natural News, right? It is dated November 2nd, 2025. So it's from yesterday, right? And I came across it yesterday when I was kind of like skimming through the news, combing through articles, meditating through the spirit and looking at the, looking what was, what was going on out there. Now, needless to say, the title reads this: Putin unveils operational Burevestnik nuclear-powered missile, right? A game changer in modern warfare. And this is what the article looks like right here. And for whatever reason, I cannot put articles in my description box. All right, this damn demon won't let me do it. You see? So if you brothers want this link, want this article, I'm going to have to send you the link. I'm going to have to send it to you. Because I can't put him in my description box. This nigga's tying me out on that. Because I was doing it at an alarming rate like a year ago. So he stopped that from how he won't let me, he blocked me out of that. But needless to say, if you need it, let me know. I'll send it to you. But yeah, it's going to go into it real quick, right? We'll read a couple of these thumbnails, right? It says this. Look at Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the completion of testing for Russia's nuclear-powered Burevestnik cruise missile. Now, it's one of a kind. Check this out. Claiming it is unique and invincible with unlimited range due to its miniature nuclear reactor. All right? Now, we know, all right, that these weapons are of the Lord. All right? These missiles, these weapons belong to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, bro. All right, so the speech he's using, it's unique for sure, but to say it's invincible, hey, guess what? That's not far-fetched. Because the scriptures tell us in Joel, all right, that when they fall upon the sword, when these missiles fall upon the sword, which is the missile defense systems, they're not gonna lose their rank. Okay, the scriptures go into that again because the spirit of the Lord's on these. These are His weapons. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Let me just get this real fast. We'll jump right back into the article because I do want to read into the article a little bit. There's some good information in there. But let me get this real quick in Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 25, and it reads, "The Lord Yahweh hath opened His armory, look it, and hath brought forth the weapons of His indignation," man. All right, the weapons of His righteous anger. Those weapons that He's bringing forth out of His armory is that bow of steel that's going to strike Esau through. This is talking to the missiles, bro. The ICBM missiles is belong to the Lord. As much as these kings of the earth, think they're bringing it forth on their own via their physicists, right? Their modern day Smiths, these scientists, all right, which have been opened up into the realms of the knowledge of being able to split these atoms, smash them back together to create these cataclysmic events. Unbeknownst to them, it's the Lord, all right, that's granted them access to be able to do that. Now check this out. Let me read this from the top. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 25, and it reads, "The Lord hath opened up His armory and hath brought forth the weapons of His indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts," bro. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of armies. You see? In the land of the Chaldeans, bro, that's just another name for Babylon, which the Chaldeans were the wise men of that time, which is today they'll be the technocrats. You see? As you can see, Trump surrounding himself around technocrats. There will be your modern day Chaldeans of today. Right? Here it is. This nigga's building the $300 million ballroom in the East Courts of the White House, bro. All right, where they getting all this money from? You all right? The technocrats are gathering together and putting their money into this thing, man. And they're taking the taxpayers' money. You know that. You know? But this is what they're doing because they're trying to bring forth this diabolical resolution, which comes in the form of the fourth industrial revolution, right? Which is you being in these 15-minute cities and being part of the Internet of Things, looking crazy, can't drive a gasoline vehicle, everything's electric. All you got is an electric car or a bike. All right, and you're limited to where you can go. All right, but anyways, back to the point. These weapons of war belong to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. I just want to make that point. Let's go back to the article. So when you go into the information regarding the stance that these nations are taking with these weapons, in this case, you got Putin talking about it's unique and invincible. Hey, he ain't reaching with that. Why? Because the Lord's with it. The Lord's doing this is the Lord's weapon, right? Look, let me continue on that same thumb. Let me read it from the top. That same thumbnail. There's a few of them here. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the completion of testing for Russia's nuclear-powered Burevestnik cruise missile, claiming it is unique and invincible with unlimited range due to its miniature nuclear reactor. The missile's reactor is 1,000 times smaller than a submarine reactor, but comparable in output, enabling rapid activation, seconds to minutes versus hours to days, right? An extended flight for 15 plus hours to a 14,000 kilometer travel radius latest test. Designed to evade defenses by flying low. All right, so it flies like 50 to 100 miles above, I believe it's 50 to 100 miles. It's at 150 to 100 M. Right, look at with erratic paths. Look at with erratic paths, right? The Burevestnik can loiter, okay? It can loiter for days before striking. Okay, you know what that word loiter means? You got these corner stores that say no loitering. You know what I mean? When you just chilling around the store, just doing nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't even buy anything from the store. You just chilling around the store, got your foot, you got the kickstand going on the side of the wall of the store. This is what these things can do. All right, these things, it can just loiter around a specific target for days before striking, undetected. All right, now check this out. Putin emphasized its potential for military deployment, though Western analysts doubt its practicality, man. All right, and this is not a coincidence, bro. Okay, this is not a coincidence. The mindset of the West is that what? They're better than everybody else. The scriptures tell us that they what is that? They boast at their enemies, bro. They puffeth at their enemy, man. I think that's Psalms. Let me see if I can find that real quick. That's exactly the stance they're taking with the reality of this Burevestnik missile. They're looking at Russia. They're like, that's not possible. That's how the West is looking at the reality of that missile that Putin's saying that they brought forth through his nuclear weapons program. You see? Which, hey, this taps back into Esau's pride. He don't think they did it. He don't think they did it. Right? The West doubts its practicality, it said. Right, look at the book of Psalms chapter, let me see here. I might have to search it up. Not 9, 10. Psalms 10, Psalms chapter 10. All right, check this out. Yep, verse 5. But I'm going to start up a little bit so we can get the context of who this is talking about. The book of Psalms, chapter 10, and verse 4, and it reads, the wicked, okay, we know the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4, is Esau. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. Look at the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after power. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is not in all their thoughts, right? Because they don't believe that there's a God. It tells us that in in Psalms as well. I believe that Psalms could be 58. Let me just see if I can get that real quick. Yeah, of course the Lord's not in all his thoughts. Because this is how they think about the Most High. For one, they think they are the Most High. Right here. The book of Psalms, chapter 53 and verse 1. And it reads, to the chief musician upon Mahalath Mishkel, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, right? The fool has said in his mind, his lab, there is no God. And we know pursuing the Job 30, all right, that they were children of fools, that they were children of base men. This is talking to Esau, all right? If you could see it through the spirit. Look it, corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity, man. There is none that doeth good. All right? Yeah, there's not one Edomite that doeth good. Not one. As it'll tell us as we read down and we keep going. No, not one of them. Edomites don't do good. They're not built to. They're the sons of perdition. All right? Why you can find pictures of Jake strung up on a tree, and you got every generation standing there from granny all the way down to a 3-year-old, all right, pointing and smiling, man, because they're demonic. Anyways, back to the book of, let me just jump back. Psalms 10 and verse 4 again. The wicked, now we know who the wicked is, all right, through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. I'm going to read it verbatim. Look, God is not in all his thoughts, right? Because they don't believe that there's a God. They think they're God. You see? Here we go. Here's the point. His ways are always grievous, man. Right? And he makes his ways grievous through his laws. All right? That's how they sow their mischief. All right? And that's where their strength is also generated. It's through their unrighteous decrees. And these heathen have always moved like that, man. And Antiochus Epiphanes is a great example of that. Right? Up to this current Edomite regime. It's the same niggas, man. Look, thy judgments are far above our his sight. Right? Because they operate under their own code of judgment. This is why when you read the book of Psalms 50, the Lord clearly says to the wicked, what does thou have to do to declare my statutes or put my covenant in your mouth when you cast my words behind you, bro? You see? They put on the garment of being the chosen people, but they dropped the ball miserably, man. All right? Because they do opposing opposite to everything that the Lord says to do. But anyways, let's continue on. Here's the point. Right? As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And you see that in this article. You see him puffing like, you know what I mean? Come on, man. You just like, you're like, yeah, all right. You know, you blowing them off. You know, in the sense where, yeah, whatever. You know, yeah, you know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. As we read here, at the end of that third thumbnail, right? Putin emphasizes potential for military deployment, though Western analysts doubt its practicality. Okay? They doubt its practicality. They're puffing at the bear. You know? They don't believe they brought it forth. You see? Look at previous failures included a 2019 explosion that deleted nuclear scientists and caused radiation leaks. Despite setbacks, Putin declared the October 2023 test a success, signaling readiness for operational use. The announcement coincides with heightened tensions. Trump criticized the timing amid Ukraine peace talks. You see? Because there is no peace. And there's no peace to the wicked, as scriptures tell us. All right? Thus said my power. All right? And the wicked ruling. So there's no way possible. It's not feasible. It's not realistic for there to be peace in this time. You see? Look. Russia followed with large-scale nuclear drills, reinforcing its nuclear triad. Analysts speculate The missile may serve as propaganda or deterrent given existing ICBM capabilities. So they don't believe they don't believe the technological stance that comes with this Burevestnik missile, bro. But we'll see. We'll find out. One thing we do know, all right, Russia's a key player in the end of Babylon the Great. All right, Russia's a defense system to these nations, pursuant to Ezekiel 38. All right, and pursuant to Revelations. Let's go ahead. Pursuant to Revelations 20. All right, the bear is going to be the nation to descend upon this whore. Let me see here. Revelations 20. Verse 8's the point, but I'm going to start at verse 7. And the Revelations chapter 20 and verse 7, and it reads, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Right, and this 1,000 year is talking to after the Byzantine Empire. The Western Roman Empire fell. All right. Esau fell. All right, he was in Europe looking through for about 1,000 years. 1,000 long, drawn-out years. All right, throughout that time, the Eastern Roman Empire was ruling, which consisted of the Byzantine Empire, all right, which were Jakes. They coined this time the Silver, what do they call it? The Dark Ages. They call it a few different terms. The medieval times, right? The Dark Ages, and then there's another one. They call it Esau, but this is when Esau was finished. Esau was in Europe looking crazy out there, man. Looking real crazy. Again, I say it often. He was the raccoon of the neighborhood at that time. Getting chased out of the way. You see? Get out of my trash. What you doing under my porch? You know what I mean? Chasing him up out of there, bro. You know? He was through. Him and his old lady. They didn't have no access to no razor. You know how he was looking. Finished, bro. You know? Job 30. Right? But he was loose. See, there was going to come a time when he will be loose, and that's the Renaissance. All right? The time of antiquity. You see? About mid-1300s, late 1300s, roughly. Right? This nigga was able to crawl up out of the pit. He was able, that dark cloud went from over him. You know, and he was able to do what he does best. Right? And it's going to tell you right here what he did. Right? Let me read that again. Revelations 20 and 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Remember, 2 Thessalonians tells us that they come in the works of Satan. All right? This is not talking about Satan, the devil, Satan, the spiritual Satan. This is talking about Esau. Man, let me go get that precept. We got to prove that. The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. See, this is important information you got to know to be able to interpret what these scriptures are saying. That's why you need a teacher, right? Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the water, he sent pastors from the elders and apostles on down to bring forth their understanding. The spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. The prophets are here. The apostles are here, whether you people believe it or not. They're here. The book of Revelations, Revelations on the mind. The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Right, the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And I'm going to get, verse 9 is the point, but I'm going to start at verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Again, we know who the wicked is, man. Pursuing the Malachi 1 and 4. It's Esau. Esau, and the dog's qualifying it. You hear him back there? Yup. It's Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. As one walks by me right now. She's coming. Wait and look. You'll see her in the back. The Lord's beautiful, qualifying it all. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Right? Which is the servants, the prophets, bringing forth these prophecies, bro. You know, testifying again, bringing forth this testimony, testifying against Esau and his system. You see? Those two-star witnesses, bro, with a key, with those two witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom, which are the prophets, bringing forth this truth. And you got star witnesses, right, which is Esau's tongue falling upon himself, these other heathen nations bringing forth information. You know, Esau's just doomed all over the place, bro. He's the cursed people. Look. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You see the thumbnail? You see that chariot? That's going to be the brightness of the Lord's coming along with the missiles, but the chariots are going to clean up house. All right, because again, remember, they can spray direct energy weapons. They have direct energy weapon technology, which comes in the form of laser beam. How crazy that might sound, it's true. I'm sorry, I got Revelations on my mind. Second Ezra 13 proves that point. Right, let's go. Even him, all right, 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him who Esau, the wicked, whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, bro. Okay? He's going to bring forth miracles through this technology via the chip. Neuralink, all right? Palantir, quantum computers, okay? Project Bluebeam. This nigga's a demon. All right, he comes in the working of Satan. All right? Now let's go back. Back in Revelations. Back in Revelations 20. See, Esau never thought we would find this information out. You know how critical this information is, bro? This information we're going into right now, this is critical information. Even your boy Teddy Roosevelt, which is a damn demon, I'm being facetious when I say that, but even your boy Teddy Roosevelt said, roughly paraphrasing, having a clear understanding of the Bible is worth more than a college education. Let's go. The book of Revelation, chapter 20, all right? Back in verse 8, and it reads, and shall go out. I'm gonna read verse 7 again and read down. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Now we know who this is truly talking about. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Esau does what he does, but he went to deceive when he got up out of them pits, bro. It's not a coincidence. The printing press came out in the 1400s, right around the time this nigga was wiggling around. All right, this is when he was able to push forth the false image of the Lord. He was able to rewrite history. He was on his tirade of committing iconoclasm and hiding relics and destroying what he could. You know, trying to have this whole and being this benevolent, evangelical, relevant. But no, he still got found out. Information still leaked. Okay, we still got Russian icons. Let me continue on. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog. Russia. Look at this. To gather them together to battle, bro. This is the end game. And this is why anytime you ever hear any talks of war on either side is always brought up. Because that is going to be the end of the Edomite hegemony. This war right here. All right, the Third World Woe, which comes with, again, Russia and Babylon, America going head to head. And it's unavoidable. How do we know? Prophecy. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Russia's going to be thick, bro. And it tells us that in Jeremiah. He's going to come with assembly of great nations, bro. They're going to be deep. All right? And they're going to have Babylon the Great surrounded. Let me close out with this. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 18. And verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles. Right, the elect. We are to rejoice over this place, bro. Why? Because the Lord's about to visit it. Let's read. For power have avenged you on her. See? Avenge goes into revenge. Recompense. The Lord's coming to pay this place back. Go read Isaiah 34:8 in the NLT. All right, look it. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. So it's going to be a violent overthrow. There's no peace to the wicked. There's no peace treaty. All right, there's no changing the minds of these kings. All right, that are dead set to shoot missiles on you, man, because that's the spirit of the Lord on them. The angels are the angels. The Lord got his hand in their back through the angels. Just like on that video I did yesterday through the Spirit, that judgment video, man. The angels had their hand on the back of that deer to cross that road right at that perfect time for the Pontiac G5 or whatever it was, G7, hit the deer. That deer went ricocheting into oncoming traffic, took old girl out in the 23 Blazer. Okay? She just had twins. All right, a week ago. The Lord don't give a damn about that, bro. Judgment, man. Remember, Psalms 89, justice and judgment is the habitation of the Lord's throne. Mercy and truth shall go before his face, man. The Lord got it out for you, Babylonians. Babylon the Great is fallen. There's a visitation coming your way, and there's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you can run. There's nowhere you can hide. The chariots are here. They're watching you. The scouts are on the scene. All right? The scouts are on the scene. The men of the Lord are on the scene. The Jake is waking up. The elect is here. Okay? It's game over, man. It's game over. Stay locked in, beloved. Aki Amanakwa. I'm going to leave you with that through the Spirit. Hey, Lord willing, you were edified. Lord willing, you were spiritually fed through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And Lord willing, you were informed. Things are happening. You know, things are happening. As much as these niggas want to sit there and talk about how they're going to do this and do that. No, the Lord's doing this and doing that. You see? Esau ain't doing nothing he ain't supposed to be doing. Everything Esau's doing, he's supposed to be doing it. All right? The Lord got this man set up for the okie doke. You see? There's a snare set for him, and he doesn't even know it. But I'm going to leave you with that, beloved Aki Amanakwath. Hey, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. Hey, double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Again, Lord willing, you beloved Aki Amanakwath were edified, spiritually fed, and informed through the Spirit and power of our power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.